Pardon me. Good evening, everybody. It's Alan from Beekeeper Tarot, back at you again. And I thought it might be nice to have a bit of a drive in the rain. So we've had a bit of rain lately in Sydney, and yeah, so we might just go for a little drive. So hopefully this will be relaxing to people. And if, yeah, oh, here we go. Gonna go through some water. Yee-hoo! Woohoo! Hey! Don't need to wash my car anymore. Well, actually I do. There's this bird that keeps crapping on my bonnet. But I reckon this rain will probably wash that away. So it's just a nice wet night. Good for the seedlings. So they're going okay. I think I planted 8 and I think 7 of them have taken. That's pretty good, but I'll do a video on them soon. And actually that reminds me, I need to move them when I get home. There we go. Bit of aquaplaning. It's alright. Clean tyres. Yeah, let's go through this water. I thought what I might do as well is answer one of the questions I got about being a beekeeper, and I was actually asked, like, what do you do as a beekeeper? And that's a great question. I can't remember who asked it because obviously I'm looking at the road, not looking on my YouTube channel. But I think probably the best way to explain it is that being a beekeeper is like being a dad. And I'm not a dad, but it's like if I was a dad. Well, this is the closest thing to being a dad that I'm going to be. You know, a good father loves their kids, you know, and in the same way a good beekeeper looks after their bees. Like I'm very protective of them, and I want to make sure that they're okay. So I generally will check on them when I go to bed at night, just make sure they're okay. I'll always make sure that they've got water to drink. Unfortunately, about maybe 2 years ago, we had a thing come to Australia called the Varroa mite, and it's currently in New South Wales, and it's working its way down to Victoria. So Victoria is the state south of New South Wales. So what the Varroa mite does is it lives in the brood. So the brood is where the babies are. And so what that means is if you don't treat for Varroa mite, the Varroa mite will eventually collapse your colony. So unless your colony, decides to take off, but generally speaking, Varroa will, if it's left unchecked, it will destroy your colony. And unfortunately that happened to me about a couple of months ago, where I harvested and then I treated for Varroa. I took the treatments out, and then this thing called hive moth came in, and then within about 2 months, the hive was just gone. So yeah, all the frames just turned to jelly. It was just really heartbreaking. So I think every beekeeper goes through that. It's that thing where you kind of feel, oh my god, you failed your bees. But we're all learning this. So I got new bees, and they're doing fine. So I got the new bees probably about maybe 2 or 3 months ago, and when I did that hive inspection the other day, I had no issues, and the bees are hunky-dory. The bees are fine. Yeah, so that's kind of how that that side of it worked. But I have no idea where I'm going. Can I go straight ahead? Oh, do I go? No idea. I've got no idea where I'm going. I think I'll go here. Oh, okay, here we are. Woo. Okay, I don't want to turn right, I want to go straight ahead. Oh, that was fun. Yeah, so you've got to just keep an eye on your bees. So you have to do regular testing for varroa mite and looking at them for other diseases that bees have, and that's kind of unfortunate. That's just kind of part and parcel of it. It's just the way that it rolls. But it has changed the way that you do beekeeping. But I can probably do another video on the varroa mite at some point in the future. But that's just a bit of a pain in the butt. But yeah, you should regularly check your bees. So I will probably check on them every maybe 2 months, see how they're going. I'll look for, like I said, hive beetle, and I'll check for varroa. And if I need to treat for varroa, then I'll treat. So when you treat for varroa, you have to introduce a chemical into the hive. So that technically means that where you're treating for the varroa, that's contaminated. So you can't. So if you're okay, how do I explain this briefly? So, like I said before, the varroa mite, it goes onto the brood. So the brood box is the bottom box in the hive, and that's where the babies are. And what you do, you put what's called a queen excluder. So it's like a bit of metal mesh, and it goes on top of the brood box, and it stops the queen from going upstairs. It stops the queen from going into other parts of the hive. So what that means, because the queen's got like, she's like J-Lo. She's got a big rotation. She's got, the queen's has got this big bum. God love her. She's got a nice big bum, and she needs a big bum or a big abdomen because that's what she uses to lay the eggs, right? So she can't get through the queen excluder, which means she's always on the bottom level of the hive. That means that the babies are always going to be in the bottom of the hive, and so if the brood is with the babies, it's always going to be the varroa is going to be in the bottom of the hive. That's kind of how it works. That's the quick version. Poor guys working in the rain. Yeah, I know. These poor guys. It's hard. Anyway. I wonder what company that is. Yeah, so apart from looking after for varroa, you check your bees. You check out for things like wasps and things. So wasps are natural predators for bees. So I'll always, make sure that the wasps aren't getting too great in numbers. If the beehive is getting really hot, especially in summer, it can get pretty warm here in Australia. So I will cool the hive down, like I'll put a hose on it or something. With my hive, I've got like a bit of reinforced cardboard, or maybe it's mason. I don't know what you call it. It's like an acrylic thing. It's like a big veranda around. It's almost like a big veranda on top of the hive, so it kind of gives the hive a bit of protection from rain and things. So they should be nice and dry inside the hive. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I try not to disturb the bees unless I absolutely have to, because it's like you just want to let them be in peace. Do you know what I mean? So when I looked in the hive the other day, I was really relieved because I saw that they've actually been making their own honey. So I saw a big frame of honey that they've been making. So that means that they've got plenty of food for winter. So we're the second month into autumn now in Australia. So it's the 1st of May, and it is the 1st of May, and so that's pretty much it. But yeah, you just take care of them. You just think about them, and they're like your kids. They sting you sometimes, but that's okay. I mean, for a bee to sting you, and every beekeeper goes through this, right? It's just part of the deal. But bees don't sting you because they want to. They sting you because they're freaking out. They're thinking, "Who are you?" But then I do believe, though, that your bees do get to know you. I do believe that after a while, your bees will. They're like, "Oh yeah, it's just you again." I just feel that. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's just my vibe with the bees. Yeah, but I really enjoy being a beekeeper, and like I said, it came quite by surprise. And I didn't plan to be a beekeeper in the same way that I didn't plan to be a tarot card reader. It just kind of happened, and in a way, it happened at the same time. So, but it's really rewarding being a beekeeper, and because with the varroa mite, at least in Australia, because it's fairly new, the varroa mite is growing. Sorry about that noise, guys. The varroa mite is numbering. It's exponential growth with the varroa mite right now because it's only new. So after a couple of years, they say that the numbers are going to settle down. But right now, it's just a real pain, and like I said, it really affects the way that you do beekeeping. But what's happened is that a lot of amateur beekeepers like me have stopped beekeeping because they just don't want to deal with varroa. Whereas I'm a bit different. I'm like, the bees need our help, so I'm a bit different to that. And so my attitude is I'll do whatever I can to help them, and that's kind of my vibe with that. So yeah, but basically what's happening, at least in New South Wales, it's because a lot of if you have bee colonies, right? If you have honeybee colonies that are living like in national parks and living in like natural hives, like they might migrate to a fence or a bit of tree or something, and they'll build their own hive there. This is like naturally, and if that hive gets varroa, well, it's not going to get treated because it's in the middle of a national park. Do you know what I mean? So that hive will die, and so it's really the beekeepers, the people like me, that are really kind of keeping them alive right now. And obviously there's the professional beekeepers, but the professional beekeepers, they're thinking about the money, they're thinking about the honey and the bucks. Whereas, I mean, I love getting the honey from them, but my priority is, it's not about the honey, it's actually about me keeping them alive and keeping them safe. That's the thing that drives me with beekeeping. So that's where amateur beekeepers are different to professional beekeepers. I don't know. I've never been a professional beekeeper, and I wouldn't really want to. I'm just happy with one hive, and I had 2 hives. I've only got the one now, but I would like to have a few more hives, which I'm kind of planning. Because why have one when you can have 10? Beekeepers are a bit like that. So the other thing which I wanted to talk about really briefly is the native bees. So what happened was that a friend of mine, she sent me a picture of what's called a bee hotel, and what that is, I can probably talk about this a bit later. But see, in Australia, we've got a couple of 100 different types of native bees. So the European bee, it's like a combination of the Italian, the French. I think there's like a Spanish one and English bee, and then it's like a combination of that. That's the honey bee. But the native bees, so these are the ones that are, in my case, that are native to Australia. I think there's somewhere between about 250, maybe 300 of them. That's just a rough guess. And different species or different types of bees. Now, the thing with the native bees, at least in Australia, is that they don't sting you. So they can't sting. And I'm kind of thinking about getting a native beehive as well. So I've got to read up on that and do a bit of research on that. What's the best way to go around it? The good thing with the native bees is that they don't suffer from the diseases. They don't get varroa and everything because they're just too small. You know, they just a lot of the diseases that the honeybee gets, the native bee doesn't. So yeah, that's kind of how that side of it works. And we'll just turn back. Yeah, so that's how that side of it works. And it's a really good idea. I fully get it. You know, if you wanted to have bees and people are thinking, you know, oh my God, you know, getting stung and all the drama with that and everything else. Well, you know, native bees are a good substitute or a good idea. It's something that you can do because they won't sting you. So I'll have to do some research into the American or the Canadian or the native bees of Europe, but definitely the native bees in Australia, they don't sting you. So I'm assuming that it's the same for the other bees, the other native bees. So not the honeybee, but the native bees. So, and like I said, my understanding is you just set them up and you let them go. I don't think that you would really harvest honey from them because they're not going to make a great deal of honey. I have seen honey from native hives. It's really expensive, but something that you know I might be able to look into doing. Yeah, so that's kind of a bit about bees, and but they're just as lovely little creatures. And like I said, you know, my idea for me, I'll turn that windscreen wiper off. The idea of starting the channel was really both. It was to raise awareness for tarot and esoteric things and spirit and all that kind of stuff, but also to raise awareness for bees. So that was kind of like my jam when I started the channel. So yeah. So anyway, that's it. We might just drive a little bit further, and I'll switch off when we get to the end of this nature area. So I'm just going to be quiet now. You can have a break from my voice and enjoy the silence. like I was saying before, yeah, we've got our election on Saturday, so there's a media blackout from tomorrow, which is it's late at night on the 1st, so on Friday, which is tomorrow, there should be no more ads. But like I said, I've really done a good job of avoiding everything, so it's just that I'm just, like I said, I just don't need the drama, I'd rather just watch my bees and listen to some music and listen to the tarot readers. That's all I need. That's all you need in life. A few interests, play the guitar, just whatever, Cook some food. So here we go. I just watered someone's lawn with the water that was pulled up there. Looks like they're asphalting. That's what they're doing. Oh, okay. I've just worked out what's happening with these roads here. There's just a bit of a maze. Just a bit of a maze. Yeah, so like I said, I hope that you find these kinds of videos. I mean, they are a bit different, but some people just find these videos quite relaxing, and I thought, just with the rain, it might be just a nice excuse to take you guys out on a bit of a drive. Just a nice little road here. And when we get to the end of this road, we kind of come onto a main road, so that it kind of enter into suburbia a bit, so I'll switch the video off then. So it's kind of more, what's the word, prettier this way, or it's more soothing, I don't know, as opposed to bright lights and traffic and people. It's just nicer this way. It's just really important to have those breaks, in all the insanity. It's really important to take time out, and if you can, get out in nature, or if you can't, just watch a YouTube video about someone walking in a forest or whatever, or you can actually you can play rain sounds, like, people play sounds of the ocean, or blizzard, or whatever it is, or campfire. There's lots of free stuff on YouTube, so if you feel that you're you know, feeling a bit stressed and a bit wired, and I think we're all feeling that right now. I'm certainly feeling it. It's a good way to escape the insanity, because you can't be switched on to it all the time, you know, because you can't. You go crazy. It's like you have to say to yourself, okay, after this time, or, you know, I'm not going to watch the news, or I'm going to just veg, or I'm going to, you know, I'm going to do something for myself today. And that's really important, you know. In that way, we pace ourselves, and it's like everything that we do, it counts, you know. Sometimes I think sometimes we think, oh, you know, I'm not really doing that much. Well, you know, if you're making someone's life, even one person's life, if you are having a positive influence on someone else's life, or if you are making someone's journey easier on this earth, then that's enough, you know. That's more than enough, you know. You know, if you're helping somebody, and it, you know, doesn't mean that you have to give them all your money, but I'm just saying that if you are showing kindness to people and trying to do the right thing by people, or helping people, you know, or helping the bees, you know what I mean? Like, if you're doing something, however big or small, the fact that you're doing something that's so important, and I think in that way we will raise up the collective energy too, you know, because we're just dealing with shit. We're all dealing with shit, and it will pass. It will pass like it always done, because everything in life, I believe, is transitional. So, you know, but we're just stuck in it right now, and I mean, you know, I don't think it will change anytime soon. So we just have to try and deal with it the best way that we can. Does that make sense? I hope that the windscreen wiper noise isn't too annoying, guys. Here comes the rain. Do, 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 do. Here comes the... Oh, you got bright lights. The rain. I say it's alright. There you go. It's my Beatles impersonation. Alright folks, well, we are coming up to a highway here. I might turn off. And thank you for listening. This video has gone for about half an hour. I think that's more than enough time to listen to my gibber. Take care, guys, and we will see you soon. Okay, bye for now. Bye.